Hello and welcome to our first ever virtual fans forum, where today the fans are going to be putting questions to a panel we've got at the club. So first I want to start off by saying thanks to everyone who's sent in their questions. And also later on we'll have some fans actually directly asking the panel for theirs in a short while. So I'll start first by introducing who we've got on the panel. So we're going to be talking to Club Secretary Tony Cunningham, got the gaffer Chris Willcock and his assistant Lee Donafee. And then we've got Jamie Rother, Richie Baker, Tony Donaldson, and Nathan. Sorry, I'm reading his thing up here. Dahrius Waldron. I'm reading his. So yeah, we'll get onto that now. And if we start by talking to Club Secretary Tony Cunningham. So Tony, if we just start by, obviously you've kept the fans updated a lot during this lockdown. What's the latest update in terms of if we will get back playing?
Well, the latest date they've said, all fixtures are cancelled until at least the 6th of March, which really doesn't leave very much of the season left. And presumably, they're even doubtful about restarting after then. And they've come up with, or the FA have come up with many, many options for us to complete as to which is our preferred way of finishing the season. Whether it's to null and void it, to say stop playing immediately or start again in April. They've sent us about 12 different options to look at. And I think as a club, we need to look at what's our preferred option. It doesn't mean what we say will go. Credit to the leagues, because last year, of course, he got a lot of flack on the basis that they just null and voided the season almost as a knee-jerk reaction. I think this year they've learned from that you can't just go making quick decisions like that. Everybody's put a lot of effort in over the last so many months. You can't just wipe it out. And at least this year they've come back and given the clubs some sort of say as to what's going to happen. What will happen now is all the clubs will respond by the end of this week as to what's their preference for ending this season. It will then go to the Alliance Committee from the 3 different leagues at our level. They call themselves now the Trident Leagues. That's the Northern Premier League, Southern League and Isthmian League, who administer levels 3 and 4 of non-league football throughout the country. They're very much working hand in hand for a change now, which is the right thing to do. They'll then be getting all these responses back. It'll go then to the Alliance Committee, who actually oversees the National Leagues North and South, Northern Premier League, Isthmian League and Southern League, with all these responses. We've been told to expect a sort of evaluation of the responses in early February. But even then, the Alliance Committee can't make any decisions. It has to go to the FA Council, and they're the ones who will ultimately decide what happens with this season. And it's anybody's guess what's going to happen. I know what my preference would be, although it's not actually on the list of alternatives. If I was to ask the fairest way of dealing with the situation that we're in, looking at it, last season, we completed 3/4 of the fixtures. This season, on average, we've completed 1/4 of the season. Now, if there's no way we can restart this season because COVID keeps pushing back and pushing back, to me, the ideal way would be to say, look, 3/4 of one season and 1/4 of another season gives us a full season. Why don't we use all the results and all the games that have been played in the last 18 months to come up with a league table based on points per game basis? Now, obviously, from our point of view, we'd probably come out just behind Workington, which is a nice position to be in. Whether they'll actually accept that as an option I don't know. They may say, no, it's all been null and voided, we can't go back. Although I gather that within women's football, null and void has actually been dismissed and teams have been promoted in the women's game, even though the competition was declared null and void. So there is a precedent being set there. The other option, probably the one that's probably going to happen, I would think, but again, it's only guesswork. I think they're going to say when we can't get any more games, if we can't get any more games played before May, my preference there will be to say, well, look, we played on average about 8 games already this season. Let's restart this season, August, September, whenever we're ready to do so, and complete the rest of the season. So the games that we played so far are not wasted. They're not null and void. Everybody's put in the effort for those average of 8 games per club. At least don't waste them, carry them forward to next year. But it all depends on what happens with COVID, what the FA decide as far as can we carry on playing any matches? If we can carry on playing matches, how do we do it? Because if you think about it, it said they can extend the season to the end of May. If we're not allowed to start playing to the middle of March, you've no more than 10 or 11 weeks. Well, we've still got 28 games to play. There's no way they're going to cram 28 games into such a short space of time, especially when you can still get games postponed because of bad weather and everything else. It's just a bit of a minefield. For a change, I actually feel quite sorry for the FA, and I feel sorry for the people running the Northern Premier League, because this is something that nobody's ever forecast. It's not something they've ever had to deal with before. How they come up with a conclusion to satisfy most people is beyond me, because no matter what you do, there's going to be a lot of people unhappy with it. And I think we've just got to trust the FA to come up with some sensible way of completing this season, whether we play more games or we don't play any more games, in the hope that most people can look and say, well, at least they've looked at it this year, as opposed to doing the knee-jerk reaction we had last year. We shall see.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously it's got to be happy days for us, because it means we get promoted, wouldn't it?
That would definitely be my favourite option, I will stand there, yeah. But hey, to be fair, Dominic, we've deserved it. You know, we should have got promoted last season. And the way we played this season, we've been good enough to get promoted. So the whole squad, the management team, the players, they've all deserved to be promoted. And we've been thwarted, possibly for 2 successive seasons. So if there is a way where we can actually reward the players for the effort they put in, then I'm all for it. And I think that's the right way it should be. To just null and void another season would be an absolute disaster to me, because everybody's efforts will then just be negated. It's not right.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. They do deserve it over the last 2 seasons, like you say. So on that, we'll move on to the gaffer then now, Chris. Obviously, just what Tony said then regarding the seasons, would you like to see something similar happen?
Yeah, I think that's a very good option. There is potentially another option that I would be in favour with if, it was possible to, through the FA to go with, and that would be split the league into 2 groups, a 10 and a 9, with only 19 teams being in it. Play over the 3 months of the season from March to May, 16, 18 games. Top 2 teams from each group go into the playoffs, first and second. You can play opposites. First from another group play the second. One group would obviously play 18 games and one group would only play 16. So potentially you could look at one promoted team, whoever's got the most points after the 16 games, automatic promotion, and then 2 teams from each group play off in the playoffs. And obviously the bottom 2 teams of each group will then get relegated, allowing steps 5 teams to still get promoted. And you can do that well within a 3-month period. So for me, that's potentially another option I would certainly be in favour for. Certainly, I don't want a null and void season. But as Tony said, the best option for us is, for me, the consistency that we've shown over the 2 seasons, to be rewarded for that. And gaining promotion off the back of that would be, extremely welcoming.
Yeah, definitely. And are you treating this period as in, we may still get back? Obviously, it's looking, the chances are looking very slim, aren't they? But are you still giving the players plenty to do in terms of keeping fit, etc.?
We're trying to, but it's obviously the motivation. It's really difficult for the players. With the first potential, the second lockdown up to the 19th of December, we set our plan out and stall out to get ourselves in the right condition. And the lads worked exceptionally hard with all the challenges that were put in place. And then it got put back again, no fixtures over Christmas, and then another delay off the back of that. And, if I was a player, my motivation would certainly start to struggle with the constant delay of things. But they've been superb in the lockdown. I have to say, I can't have asked any more of them, to be honest. And the management team, we've put a lot of challenges in place, and they've worked exceptionally hard to maintain their fitness levels, and to be ready to go as and when the league starts again. But obviously, at the moment, we're not in that position. So we've set them another challenge regarding the Land's End to John O'Groats miles that we want to try and cover for charity. And we felt we wanted to do something for the club. And we felt from a motivational point of view, there'd be something for them to get the teeth stuck into. And the management team as well. It was for everybody, really. And, the more we've discussed it, the more it's developed in getting the whole community involved in it, which, is a fantastic idea. The health and well-being of everybody at the moment is extremely being challenged, mine included. And, we feel it's a great challenge for the club. And if we can raise some funds for charity as well, it's a fantastic idea. And obviously maintaining the fitness, and I can still crack the whip and keep the players in order as best I can, really.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to have details on that at the end of this week, hopefully, because fans will be we haven't released it yet, so fans will be wondering what that is at the minute. But it's coming out.
No, I mean, I know it's not been released, but it's something. Obviously, as I said, we're trying to keep the players motivated. We wanted something for the club to get involved in.
Yep.
And I'm sure once it gets announced, everybody will jump on board and get involved, because it doesn't matter how much you do in the challenge, everybody's contributing to it, and it'll help their health, well-being, fitness levels, and it'll be great for everybody.
Yeah, definitely, because we've all got to stick together, haven't we? Especially at times like these that we're in at the moment.
Sure.
And Lee, obviously you, assistant manager at Rami. How is it working with Chris? Do you get on quite well most of the time?
I won't beat around the bush. He does me head in, that's for sure. But yeah, I started off playing for him about 10 years ago. And suppose you could argue with a bit of a married couple, good cop, bad cop, however you want to see of it. But sometimes you get the bunt of his tantrums, but it's you get used to him in the end, you know what I mean? But look, he's committed, he's professional, he makes us feel professional. He's listening. You got to tell your hat off to him for how he applies himself and how he wants us to play as a team, and how he wants to do how he structures his teams, and that it's just it's a pleasure to work with him, to be honest. Although we have our ups and downs, but we get over them in the end. And I'm there to challenge him as well, so he knows what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? So, and I think that's why we work well together, to be honed.
Yeah.
I'll stick him off, Dom. Get somebody else on.
Ring Ollie up there. We'll ring Ollie up and get him on. And I suppose I've had spoke to a few players over lockdown, and they say you're both quite different, which helps as well, Lee. That the way you both work, because obviously if you were the same character, it might have the same effect. And that was my point. What I was saying, it's about challenging him. Well, not so much challenging him, but the respect levels there as well, and it's different in terms that everyone's got opinions, and even though mine might differ to Chris's, I'll still back him. Do you know what I mean? Because he's the manager of the football club, and I'm there to support him as well as to support the lads in the dressing room. Do you know what I mean? And if we can find a happy medium, which is something he's letting me what to do in terms of me always being happy or always being low, more times than not, it's helped in our success. I mean, but everywhere we've been, we've managed to win trophies and reach the playoffs. Do you know what I mean? And so it's instilled in us. And we both share the same ambitions, and he's a driving force, and I think he's a good lad to work for, and we get the end results. So good. Yeah, definitely, and it showed so far this season. Even though sadly it's been, we think it's going to be cut short, don't we? So if we move on to the players now, then introduce everyone there. We'll start with you, Richie. Richie Baker, obviously, you were here last season as well. So how frustrating has that been for you? That you've obviously, it's happened twice, really. I know sooner this time, but must be frustrating that it's been practically void again now.
Yeah, I think as players, you just want to play football. As fans, you probably just want to watch football. So it's a bit of a kick in the teeth what's happened last year, because we were on a good run and feeling like going into that last little bit, it would have come down to maybe one or two results going one way or the other, and we probably would have been there or thereabouts between us and Workington's getting promoted, and there's nothing better than getting promoted. And then again this year, we've got off to a good start after like mass changes with the squad really. It was good that we've like recruited well. The Gaffer's brought in some good players, which have bought into the way we want to do things and the way the Gaffer wants to do things. So, and then we've strung some good results together, and we look like we were just getting into our stride just as the lockdown hit. Basically, well, December hit, and I think it's killed the lads in terms of, like the Gaffer says, motivation. It's difficult to motivate yourself if you haven't got personal goals now. What do you get fit for? What do you know what I mean? You can just stay at home and lounge around and obviously get very unfit very quickly. But if you've got a bit of a personal goal and you want to lose some weight, or you want to stay fit, or you want to run, this charity thing, I think, which has not been mentioned to the fans or the public, let's say, is going to be something that might motivate the lads to get back on the road and do some serious miles. Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a really good, really big collective thing in it. This is like, so we are announcing it very soon to get the fans and the players together and out getting fit, as you say. And I suppose people say, don't they, healthy body, healthy mind as well. So has it made you feel better during lockdown in terms of keeping fit and keeping active? Yeah, it's been a bit of a weird one. So it's probably been one that's kind of hit home. Probably took my eye off the ball since I've gone from being full-time football to part-time football. You go from obviously training 5 times a week to twice a week, and very difficult sometimes to do a lot of running, even though the Gaffer does have us running a lot on Tuesdays and Thursdays, to be fair, but you're still never doing as many miles as you would do if you were full-time. So I found it difficult to adapt at first, and maybe took my eye off the ball and thought, the level's easy enough for me to not be as fit as I need to be. But from a personal now point of view, it's probably been like a bit of a kick up the backside to get myself even fitter, get myself even stronger, back to where I probably was when I was full time. And it's probably more of a personal thing now to carry on playing, try and stay injury free, hopefully play till I'm a little bit older, let's say. Nice one. Cheers, Richie. And another player who last season and beyond that was Jamie Rother. Obviously, we only spoke, didn't we, Jamie, last week? We caught up. But I know we talked about the progression of the club as well on the pitch since you've been here. How have you found that?
Yeah, massive changes since I joined the club. I joined the club I think it was midway through the 2014-2015 season. Yeah, there's big changes from the management team have just left onto Salford. All the players left, so it was a complete fresh start. But we were rubbish. We weren't challenging for anything for a few years. So it was, and the changes over the last few years since the Gaffer and the management team have come in, it's unbelievable, really. Like I said when we spoke last time, with first season we had the FA Trophy run, which was unbelievable for the club, and we finished in the playoffs in that season. Last season we were second, thinking that we're going to go. We fancied our chances to go on and at least get promoted, if not win it. And the same again this season. So the progression over the years has been second to none, and it keeps improving every year, to be honest with you. Yeah, definitely, it seems that way. And I know you said about Chris, you've had your trouble with injuries, haven't you? But since Chris coming, you've managed to stay fit as well, haven't you? So you're on about giving him a bit of credit for that. Yeah, I've been a bit hit and miss this season, but yeah, certainly when I first came in, I missed the best part of 2 seasons with snapped Achilles and problems with the knee and what have you. But yeah, since he's come in, I've had, touch wood, I've certainly had 2 strong seasons where I've not had just a couple little niggles here and there, a bit different this season. But yeah, it's a testament to how hard he's got everyone working, and you're making sure that you need to make sure that you're fit enough to run all over teams, because that's how he wants us to play, and to do that you got to put the work in. So yeah, definitely, I'll definitely give him a shout out on that one, because I know he's after one.
And one player we've got here who's just joined this season is Dahrius Waldron. I got it right this time. Sorry about that, Daz, last time. Or reading the Zoom. So, although obviously you haven't been able to play many games with the season being stopped, but how have you found it so far at Rami?
Fantastic, really, to say in a word. I joined, my sister, her partner, is the main cousin. So, you know, the main come down, and he asked me to come along, and it just started then, really. I really had no interest in playing football at this level until that moment. And then, you know, I was in decent shape in the summer, and I spoke to the gaffer, and you know, decided to come down, and it's just been great ever since then. You know, I was, especially after hearing how the club did so well last year, and you know, I just wanted to, if I was to come in, I wanted to make sure I could, you know, try and maintain that, and hopefully, you know, go again, because after speaking to the manager, as I said, you know, the goal wasn't going to be changed, and I wanted to prove to him and to the rest of the team that I was here to stay, and here to achieve that same goal as well. So, you know, once we'd played this first quarter of the season, and for it to be stopped in the way it has been again, it's, you know, it's really disappointing, because we'd hit the ball running, and I've played quite a large proportion of the game. So yeah, it's quite disappointing, but absolutely fantastic to be involved. And from a personal note myself, like, I'm just trying to maintain my fitness as well as much as I can, just to, you know, give myself a better starting point for when the restart does happen, to make sure I'm in the best shape for the team and, you know, for myself.
Yeah, and you even found yourself in goal, didn't you, at one point when Ollie got injured? What sort of an experience was that?
Yeah, being in goal for all. I'd say I probably had a better performance than him, to be honest. My second half showing. It's great. It was just a crazy one, to be honest. I think it was got to half time. I don't know if he even carried on, to be honest, if he'd broke it. But somebody had to go in, and obviously it's not really something that anybody really wants to do. But, you know, I just put my hand up to do it, and you know, it's not really a job someone wants to do. But
that's why Ollie's not come on tonight, mate.
Yeah, like I said, not the best of jobs that, you know, for any of the outfield lads to do, but I was well protected, and luckily we got the result we wanted that day, so it was good in the end.
Yeah, definitely. Just keep practicing your goalkeeping skills, just in case when we come back.
Yeah.
We ever need it again. Cheers for that, Daz. And then last but not least, we've got Tony Donaldson. Again, Tony, I've caught up with you on over lockdown, and you've been away and come back to the club again this season. Have you noticed any differences, any changes while you were gone to when you've come back?
Oh yeah, well, there's obviously as relentless as it always was when I was first there, and obviously there's a few new lads who've come in, and the faces change, but you know, the same principles are still there. He wanted to go, we wanted to win every game, and yeah, I've enjoyed it since I've come back. Obviously, I had the year away, and how well he done last season. It was disappointing for them for it to end how it did, but hopefully this season gets another restart, and we can try and finish what's happened. But yeah, I've enjoyed it since I've come back in. You know, all the lads are sound, and you know, I enjoy playing for the gaffer and with Lee and the management team. So yeah, I've enjoyed it.
And it came at a bad time for the whole team, because they're all playing well. But you in particular, you were getting yourself a few goals as well. So it must have been really disappointing when it came to a stop.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was enjoying my football at the time. You know, I was playing more games and starting to get further into the gaffer system, because I know how he wants to play. And maybe the first time I was here, I never really done what I was doing this season. But yeah, I was enjoying it. But obviously the stops happened, and it's just a case of trying to keep as fit as I can. And when we come back, I can hopefully hit the ground running again, and we can go on and keep winning games, and hopefully I can keep contributing to the team and doing well. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully, as you say, we'll get that chance sooner rather than later, but not looking too good, is it? So if we move, I think we're going to move on now to Warren to talk about the juniors now. If you want to go for it, Warren, when you're ready.
Yeah, thanks for that. The juniors, it's the development squad that I deal with.
Okay, sorry, yeah, development.
There's a link to the juniors. I just wanted to say that it's about the academy that started in 2021. We can now really be confident that that will go ahead in September. We had an open day with 22 people. That came. 26 have now registered, and 16 at the moment have taken up our offer, conditional offer. Just have to wait for their grades to come in. So at 16, we have a bit of competition from the football college in Bury and Radcliffe Bury, but ultimately we're doing quite well with recruitment at the moment. So the academy will be September 2021. Be a 5-day timetable. The students, so the players will come in and they'll do 4 days. They'll play on a Wednesday afternoon. We're hoping not to be playing in the Youth Alliance League and in the FA Youth decided because of where we're at with the FA. But those players predominantly have come from our under 16 teams, and that's where we're looking to recruit from. Obviously, have that pathway. But we've also got 5 town team players that have registered with us who are not part of the juniors, so that's good. And so that will further strengthen our under 18 team next year, and obviously, hopefully, the development squad as well. We expect those players to come in. The trials day was quite a good standard. Obviously, the gaffer Chris was there, and we was quite impressed with some of the lads already. So having them in for 5 days, as Richie says, it improves fitness. So hopefully that'll be good. The benefits obviously will be well, at the moment we're hoping plans have been submitted for a training ground, the training venue, and where we first started at Chat Park in Stubbins. So I'm just awaiting that. I've submitted the plans. It's just a matter of whether they'll be accepted. We've got ex-academy coach Dimitri Lavrinovic, who will be coming from the USA to do the coaching next year and teaching of that, along with Jake and myself. And Gaffer Chris as well will also put some time in doing that. They'll do work experience, which will be around the ground, and they'll have jobs to do, which is something that, again, the Gaffer brought in a couple of years ago with the dev squad. So that'll be something that we'll do. So we get a lot of benefits. And the pathway, obviously, is getting lads to come in the first team ultimately. I'm hoping to start going to, next year to Rochdale and Oldham and get the lads that maybe get released to come and join in the programme, really. That's what we're hoping to do, get players up and into that first team eventually. But there's also educational, pathway to university. We're just trying to get a partnership with Salford and Bolton, so that should be good. Club will receive some good funding. It'll help us to improve things and improve the juniors, the seniors, and the development squad. And ultimately, at the end of the day, bring us forward. We'll have Wi-Fi, and the classrooms will be based with at the executive club, at the executive box, and with the cricket club as well. That'll be another classroom that we'll use. So hopefully, like I say, I'm just hoping now people can start getting on board. If you've got any ideas for the academy, get involved with it, then albeit whatever you can add to it will be great. Hopefully, like I say, we can get, it'll definitely go in September, as long as lockdown doesn't continue. And that's what we're at. We also have a partnership with strength and conditioning team, Ramsbottom, where the lads will go on a Thursday, and that'll be for rehabilitation as well. That's run by Jordan Hume, who obviously, as you know, is ex-player of the club. So Jordan's going to come on board and do a lot of strength and conditioning for the lads. So there's a lot of positives. So for the airtime.
Yeah, cheers for that, Warren, and we'll put that out on our socials as well to get that pushed too, because it sounds like a great opportunity for people who want to come and play for at any level, don't they? But start off at Rammy.
Yeah, definitely. How do you some short videos and some of the players as well that can come on and say a few words about the academy and the club itself. So we just need to get some few short videos out there now, because we need to get our name out, because we're a new academy, and we're linked with Trafford College. So thanks for that.
Nice one. Cheers, Warren. Thanks for that. So I think now we'll move it over to the fans now. who can put their questions to the panel. So Adam is here. Can't see him on the screen, but he is here, and I think he's going to introduce each fan now to to put their questions to the panel.
Yeah, cheers, Dom. Thanks for joining us tonight. If anyone is watching on YouTube and does want to get their questions in, if you pop them in the comments section, we'll get to those as we come on. And for the people that are in on Zoom, if you want to ask a question, if you can just indicate that by putting something in the chat box. But we'll start off with a couple of questions that have come in from people that aren't able to attend tonight. And the first is from Andy Brown, and it is from Chris Willcock, actually. And Andy says, Chris, is there a player you would like to see in a Rammy shirt that's not currently at the club?
Ooh, good question, Andy. I like that. There's quite a few, actually. But to be really good to get in this team anyway. So, yeah, there's a number of players I like out there. But ultimately, I will keep that close to my chest, unfortunately, as I don't want to upset any of the lads in the group. But no, I think if I was going to choose one, I'd like to have Nico Evangelinos back in the fold. I think if we added him to the group that we've got, he would take us to another level and give us again a great opportunity to maintain the success that we've had so far.
And another question he's come back with was, what would be your dream management position?
Ooh. Well, I mean, myself and the lads have been having some banter about Man United, Man City, Liverpool, etc. No, I mean, obviously, I am ambitious. I'd like to work up the levels. How high that would be obviously be down to a club appointing me if I didn't manage to achieve it with Ramsbottom. But I'm enjoying the job I'm doing at the moment. But I want to get into step 3, step 2, and see whether I can compete at that level as a manager on all aspects. And full time's probably out of my reach now, as I'm getting into my 50s. But there's a few years left in me yet. But yeah, I mean, step 3, step 2, and a dream job. No, I've not got a dream job. Just a club with plenty of finance. That'd be lovely.
Brilliant. Andy sent a couple in for the players, and one's for you actually, Jamie. He says included you and Tomo in this as well. He says, as the only 3 players remaining from the previous management era, what has this management team brought to the table?
Completely different, to be honest with you. I mean, it's hard work. I mean, the reason why we've been, in my opinion, so successful over the last 2-3 years because of fitness levels and having a close, tight-knit group who are all working towards the same goal. I mean, we always feel when we go out onto a pitch that we can run all over teams. We have a certain way of playing which is effective for us. Everyone's driving towards the same goal, and that's the main difference for me, and how hard that you need to work, otherwise you'll be out of the team. Yeah, it gets everyone pulling in the right direction.
Thanks, Jamie. Another question from Andy, and I don't know whether any of the players will know the answer to this, but I don't know whether there is a story behind it. But it says, "Who has Khalil's pink shin pad?"
Don't know. Pass.
Fair enough. And Tony, he's got one question for you as well. Are you happy to be back?
You're asking that to me? You're asking that?
Yeah, that's to you, mate. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm happy to be back. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I'm happy to be back. Yeah, I had the year away, but yeah, it's good to be back with the lads, and I enjoyed my first time, and I'm enjoying my second time. So yeah, I'm glad to be back.
Just mismanaged the first time around. It weren't Tony's fault, but we got to the bottom of that in the end, and we got for nice.
I think it was the Benidorm trip what threw me over the edge. I had to leave after that. I had too much stick after that, so I had to go.
Brilliant. And moving on to one final one from Andy, and it comes for you, Richie. And he's included in Mason in this because he didn't know at the time who was on the call. And he says, both of you obviously did a lot of work in pre-season. Was this something you needed to do for yourselves?
What's he trying to get at? What's he trying to get at?
Not quite too, not too sure, Richie.
No. Well, I answered that earlier. I said probably took my eye off the ball since I've gone part-time, and probably thought I could rely on ability to get me through, which I probably could do, but then I would then pick up injuries, which is what's kind of happened since I've gone part-time. Just picked up little niggles, muscle injuries, and whether it be, I don't know, a calf, an hamstring, a thigh, which is like a 4, 5, 6 week thing. I seem to picked up quite a few from going from full-time to part-time. So it's just been then me personally wanting to get fit again properly, and hopefully stay fit. If I can stay fit, I know I'm going to contribute to the team. So yeah, that's why Tony Donaldson followed me from Cone. No, I can pass him the ball.
True.
So another question that we've got, I'll take it. One of the ones we've got earlier. I'll start with you, Tony Cunningham, because it's actually a question for everyone. What is your funniest football anecdote, either at Rammy or elsewhere?
Thanks for that one, Adam. I really don't know. I'd have to go through the old brain box there, I think, to come up with a funny one. Come back to me. I'll see if I can think of one in the meantime.
There has to be one in that. There has to be one in that Harry's novel somewhere, surely.
And let's just take a couple of questions that have come in on the Zoom chat. Richard says, a question for Chris. Where do you truly believe you can take the Rams?
Where do I truly believe? Well, I know we can make it into step 3 at some point in the future. Then we'd have to consolidate, because obviously they've been at that level once before. Didn't stay there too long. And then, it's an extremely strong league with, step 3. To consolidate at that level and then look to push on, you will need some serious finance to do so. And so as long as the club's growing off the field and working as hard as I am on it, as we have been doing since I've arrived, then you never know where you can take a football club. But certainly into step 3, we could certainly compete at that level right at this moment. Whether we could get promoted out of it, the situation that we're in as a club as a whole would be extremely difficult. But you never say never. But step 3 is certainly not a dream. It's a reality. And then we'd have to see, once we got to that level, once we consolidated, can we then kick on?
And I see, Tony, you've got your football anecdote for us.
Probably it's not funny in a way, but it is. Many years ago on a Tuesday night, we used to go everywhere on a Tuesday to find a football match. And this particular night, the weather was horrendous, and I mean horrendous. And we virtually said, not going to get a game in tonight. We've looked at the fixture list, quite a few games have been called off. And we saw that Chorley's match against South Liverpool in Northern Premier League was still on. I must be going back to the 80s now. So we drove up to Chorley through thunderous rain on the M61. Got to Chorley expecting the game to be off. And as we approached the ground, we could see the floodlights still on. So we thought, it must be the only game still being played tonight. We parked the car about 20 yards from the actual entrance, and we got drenched in that 20 yards. So that's how bad the weather was. Both teams came out on the pitch, and it was almost like a pond. The referee had passed it somehow, I don't know how. South Liverpool had changed their strip to a combination of gold, black, maroon, purple, and white, which apparently was a reserve strip that had been bought for them by a supporter who remembered them playing in a similar kit just after the Second World War. So that set the scene. The weather was horrendous. And Chorley had a player called John Bingham. He was the hardest midfield player I've ever seen. He was tough. The weather that night was so bad that sliding tackles were going in left, right, and centre. It was brilliant entertainment from a supporter's point of view. And at one point, a South Liverpool player went for a ball with John Bingham. And this, the hardest man I've ever seen on a football field, actually finished up on the deck out cold. Not particularly funny, but we didn't half enjoy it at the time. Oh, what a great game of football it was as well. Probably down to the conditions. I think it finished 3-2 for Chorley or something like that. But we got back absolutely drenched. But my golly, and we enjoyed a good night's entertainment.
And I'm sure you've got plenty more of those stories as well, Tony, from down the years. But Katie also asked if anybody else has had any other sort of football anecdotes that they'd like to share with us.
Diego, I'll pass that one on to you, mate.
It's hard though, isn't it? What goes on in the changing room stays in the changing rooms, on it, hey, and all that. But yeah, I've got none that I can reveal on a forum like this, anyway.
Fair enough. Moving on, another question has come in from Andy Wersick. He says, for Chris, would you like to be able to put any players on contract, or do you think it can be a negative effect at this level?
I don't think that's for me. It's for the chairman, I think, and the officials at the football club. Putting players on contracts, it has its pluses and minuses. Obviously, it's not got minuses at the moment with the.
It'd have been great if we were on contracts now during furlough.
I know. That's what I was about to say, Rich. At this moment in time, players that are on contracts is a really, negative moment for clubs, and how difficult, the current situation is for everybody. I know, obviously, they can furlough them and get the money from the government, but it's not going to be there all the time. The furlough will end, and they'll still have to pay a contract. So, pros and cons, but I think there's a time and a place, for putting players on contract. But ultimately, I would like, but it's down to the chairman as well. It has to be a two-way thing, and I suppose if we come to an agreement on a player, and then it'll go ahead, I'm sure.
I think Tony Cunningham wants to come in on that. I think you're on mute, Tony.
Sorry, Adam. Yeah. No, just another quickie. Looking back, one of the funniest memories I've got. When I was at Waldron many years ago, we played pre-season at Emily, and we had a player who probably quite a lot of now Kevin Glendon, who was latterly involved quite a lot at Redcliffe. But he was a good player, Kevin. He was on Burnley's books, and he started off at City. This particular friendly match, we stood by the barrier, and he did this marvellous jinking bit of a run, beating 3 or 4 players within about 10 yards. Brilliant bit of footballing skill from Kevin. He was a good player. And as he beat the last man, he fell flat on his face. And he looked up at us, and we were stood 2 or 3 yards away, and he said, 1 minute Maradona, the next Madonna. We just doubled up laughing. He was a really good player, Kevin, and he just came out with that after 4 or 5 brilliant runs around these defenders, and he just fell flat on his face. Banana moment.
Brilliant. And another question, just a reminder, if anyone is watching on YouTube and they want to get the questions in, if they can drop those into the chat, I'm keeping an eye on that. But one more we've got in on the Zoom chat, another one from Andy Wersick, and he says, it's disappointing to read about new signings or departures elsewhere before we see anything officially from Rami. I don't know who wants to take this question, but it says, is there anything we can do to improve this?
I'm happy to take that question. The situation is, if you've seen it on many websites, I'll give you a great example. Clitheroe started this season. He announced a goalkeeper, and within 2 weeks of announcing a goalkeeper, he left the football club. For me, it looks unprofessional that a club can't secure a player for 2 weeks. Maybe he's changed his mind for whatever reason. And that's the way we like to do things. We like to keep it under wraps until, the player is committed to the football club. And I'm sure the fans would like that to happen. They wouldn't want to see us signing a player and him leaving the football club within a short period of time. I don't think it's the right way to go about it. Everybody may have their opinions on it. But I think the way we've done things at the moment, when we've secured a signature of a player, he's remained at the football club for a long period of time. And that's ultimately, what we want. And we don't want to alert other clubs that this potential player might be available. So ultimately, that's why we go about things the way we do. And it's been extremely successful for us in the period that I've been at the football club.
Thanks, Chris. One more is coming on the stream chat, and this one's for everyone on the panel tonight, and it's from Katie. She says, "What do the panel members do as day jobs?" So, Jamie, you're first on my screen, mate. So we'll come to you.
Yeah, I'm a director of a construction company.
Brilliant, Tony, or either Tony. I don't know which one wants to jump in first.
Oh, I'm at I just drive forklift trucks for the company, mate. Not a major life, just drive trucks for the company.
We'll go from one Tony to the other.
Adam, we've got see rooms in Bury's Millgate Centre. It's lovely that without this 12 months period, we'll have been open for less than 3 months. Wonderful. But normally we're up there serving wonderful food and drink, as you know, in Bury.
I bet you've been able to do some other stuff around the house while you've been off for the last 12 months. How have you found that?
Jean's kept me busy.
Bet she has. Who else have we got? Chris.
Teacher. I deliver PE at primary school level, and very enjoyable. Been doing it for 23 years.
Richie.
Sorry, Az, that's why I've got patience of a saint.
Thanks, Chris. Richie, you're next on my screen.
I do sales. I'm a salesperson.
Brilliant. And Dahrius.
I'm a maintenance landscaper for an exterior design company in town.
I don't think I've missed anyone. If I have missed anyone out, just shout. Oh, Diego, I've not asked you.
Yeah, I'm a full-time carer and I look after Chris Willcock and get paid good money for it. I work for the youth offending team. I work with young offenders, so we're social worker for them. So yeah, not a major, always busy as you can imagine. So good job.
Brilliant. Cheers, Lee. You all disappeared off my screen there. I think I'm having a couple of technical difficulties. But if anyone else has got any questions, do drop them into the chat for us. And Dom, I'll ask you, what do you do as a day job? While we're waiting for a couple more.
I'm back. I'll do media as well. Did work at FC United and then obviously went to uni, working at Rami now. And then I'll just do anything I can get paid for at the minute, to be honest with you, Adam.
Fair enough. I think that concludes our questions. I've had none pop up on YouTube, but if anyone else has got any final questions before I hand back to Dom, do say now. Right. Well, I think that.
I've got a question.
Go on. Go on, Richie.
Is the lad from Canada still on?
He is. I think so.
How did you become a Ramsbottom United fan? Or are you from round here? Are you local and moved to Canada? But you had a strong Canadian accent.
Unmute. I'm actually from Haslington, and my grandfather owned the commercial hotel, and we come back to Haslington all the time. And it's now the third or fourth small club I've tried to associate with. The first was Haslington, and we know where that went. And then the one that was up in Ramsbottom, not Ramsbottom, the Rottenstall, that went. And 2 years ago, I latched into this club, and I really like it. Small field, people are very pleasant, and you make a great cup of tea. So I've been watching you every time I come over there, and then I follow you on radio as well. Used to be the Hillman radio station out of Michigan, of all things. And then you also broadcast from some local hospital. So yeah, I'm a local guy. And I came from England after the war. I'm obviously that old. And I followed soccer very well. And I've been in the Canadian Soccer Association. My son was playing over there for 3 years, 4 or 5 years ago. Didn't stay because things from Canada, and a girl called him back to Canada. And yeah, I like the club. I like the spirit. I like what I see here. And I haven't contributed, but I will contribute in the future. This is my first time participating in this. And if I do have a question, I've seen here that there are several things that are necessary before you can even go. Number one, a schedule, and number two, the players. And what would be your number 3 thing that you would want to get, or that a person from outside the area can contribute to, outside of money? And I know that's always necessary. Who wants to answer that question?
Tony needs to answer this one.
What was the question?
Not you.
Not you, Tony, you muppet.
The number 3 thing you need, these guys' schedule.
I think the thing any club at our level needs more than anything is helpers. I think it's bodies. When you go down to the ground midweek, most days.
It's a bit far for him to come on a Saturday, Tony.
Yeah, well, you'd be very welcome to get a plane and come over. I think at any non-league club, people are important. Money's important, obviously, but I think people are so important. And the other worrying thing at non-league level, most of us are getting older. And I'm slightly concerned when we all vanish, is a raft of people that are younger coming through to take on all our responsibilities. So I suppose that's the most important thing that I see at non-league level at clubs like Ramsbottom United.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. And what Nat, how could somebody from Canada do that for you?
Great difficulty.
Well, it'd be easier. Just take the management to Canada. We'll take over the Canadian national team. Me and Diego like a nice trip abroad. We never said we wouldn't look at clubs outside the country.
I think I've got some Canadian blood in me.
That just may be a possibility, so don't worry. I'm just getting involved. So.
He can't give him a fork from Canada, can he?
We've had English players over here as well, and they come over, they're given jobs, things like that. I assume the same thing occurs there. So I'm just getting involved, so I'll try and help.
Yeah, well, it's good of you to do so. Yeah, much appreciated.
Okay.
Brilliant. Thanks, Brian. If anyone else has got any questions, do let us know. But I'm gonna hand it back to Dom to.
I just ask a question, Adam, if I could.
Yeah, go on, Richard. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris, 20 odd years ago, you were gracing the turf at Ramsbottom United. Harry was still there then, and he's still there now. You came back. How did you manage that?
A lot of brown envelopes, a lot of negotiation. No, to be fair, when I was a player, obviously at the club, I had a great, good relationship with Harry, and I mean, everybody made me feel welcome when I was a player there anyway. And I was in a good team at the time. We were trying to get into step 3, and you know, it was just, it felt to me when the opportunity became available, like it was meant to be, really. Me coming back and managing the club. As I say, when you have fond memories of playing somewhere, I think it's you know, always nice to go back and, you know, try and do something for the club, because I got well supported as a player and well looked after when I was there, and, you know, had a great feel to the club. The fans were great when I played, and myself and Russ Braley had a fantastic relationship up front. Scored a lot of goals between us, and for me, it was a no-brainer when the opportunity presented itself. I mean, Tony will back me up on this. When I came for the interview, you know, the conversation flowed very, very easy, and you know, the deal was done in minutes, really. So it was a no-brainer, I think, for both of us.
Brilliant. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Dom, it's all yours to wrap us up for tonight.
Yeah. So is that everyone done now in the call? Anyone else want to ask anything? Are we all? Everyone all right now?
Just a special mention to Mr. Pape from Canada. Thanks very much for joining, sir.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Yeah, thanks for joining, and thanks to everyone as well. Thanks to everyone who's joined, everyone who's watched, and thanks to the players and managers and Tony as well for coming on and talking to everyone. I think it's important that obviously I haven't played now, I don't think, since Halloween. That we all stick together at this moment in time, and yeah, and everybody stays safe, and hopefully we'll be back playing soon. You can come back supporting your team soon as well.
Just before we go, Dom, I think it's really important that we do get things into perspective. You know, we all love the game, and we all want to be certainly back involved in it, and it will help us in many different ways. But ultimately, if we all survive this, get the vaccine, and are available to engage in this wonderful game at some point in the future, then for me, that's got to be the short-term goal for everybody. You know, our health and our families are more important for me. Although football is a, you know, very strong second. But ultimately, we've got to put things into perspective, and our health and well-being is absolutely paramount. And I want to be about and enjoy the game of love for many years to come.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree. It's important we all stay safe, and like I say, stick together as well. Talk to each other. If anyone's struggling as well, you can always message Ramsbottom account or any of us. So yeah, just Chris has put it the right way, really. Health comes first, and then, as we say, hopefully in the not so distant future we can get back to our second love, as we all say, is football. Thanks, everyone.
Tom, just before we finish, I think Tony's got one final point he'd like to make.
Okay.
Yeah, just like this point, it is frustrating as not being able to play at the moment. But I think I should just point out that on behalf of everybody at the club, I'd like to thank Chris and the players for the entertainment we've had over the last 2 or 3 years. And let's hope it's not wasted. Let's hope at some point we can move up to that next level, which the team and the club certainly deserves to do. We'll be backing Chris all the way. We'll be backing the players all the way. We just need to get back playing whenever that is. And let's hope the fans at Ramsbottom continue to support the club in ever-growing numbers. And let's get on to the next level of football where we can. Thanks, everybody, for coming on tonight. It's been great.
Take care.
Take care, guys.
Stay safe, everyone.
Thank you.